Hello, it's Dallas from Dallas. Imagine living your dream life. A thriving career, a young family, and in an instant, everything changes. One accident, 34 surgeries, and a lifetime of chronic pain. But instead of letting tragedy define her, Amberly Lago turned it into a powerful message of resilience that is helping people all across the world. Amberly is a best-selling author, motivational speaker, expert in resilience, and her story is helping people navigate through adversity and find strength in the hardest seasons of life. Amberly, I am so honored and excited to welcome you to Dallas, the podcast. Welcome, Amberly. Open hearts, endless motivation. This is Dallas Podcast.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for having me, and thank you for that beautiful introduction.
Oh, you're so sweet. I have really wanted to meet you ever since Kathleen told me about you. I was like, I want to meet this lady.
We're sitting cozy in your house, and I just want to hang out here all day. I just feel you're so welcoming and loving, and I just feel your heart, and your house is so cozy that I'm just like, oh, can I just stay here all day?
Absolutely. I would love that. We could have lunch. We could do all kinds of fun things together. But I know that you have obviously had a story, and you have a massive story to share today. But before the accident that took place, Can you tell us a little bit about Amberly and your life and what it looked like?
Yeah, well, actually, life was good. I say life was good because I definitely paid my dues with a lot of struggles. I moved to California when I was 18. And, I have an almost 18-year-old. Well, I've got a 30-year-old and an almost 18-year-old. And the thought of her packing up her bags and moving across the country to go live on her own freaks me out. And so I can imagine what I put my mom through.
Oh, yeah.
But, I had a dream of being a professional dancer. And so I worked 4 jobs, saved up $1,200, had some coupons to McDonald's, and packed up my little car, my little Suzuki Samurai, and drove cross country. And, so many people say you'll never make it. You're crazy. Who do you think you are? And I was just focusing on my dream. And lo and behold, my first gig I booked was an MC Hammer video. Can't touch this.
Can't touch this.
I don't know if I'm really dating myself.
No. Can't touch this. No, I mean, da-na-na-na.
Yeah. And I was like, I have made it. I am life. This is my dream. And it was amazing. It was a lot of rejection. A lot of no's. The dance world was a very cutthroat world, but you know what? It brought me so much joy, and I think I annoyed a lot of people because I would walk into an audition just so happy to be dancing and be there, and I'd say, "Hey, good luck, break a leg, good luck," and they were like, "Oh," But I remember walking into this one audition. And I had just gotten back from Japan. I was on tour as a dancer in Japan. And so I knew very little Japanese. But this commercial was for a Yoshinoya beef bowl commercial. And I walk in, and all the other dancers are so serious. And I walk in, I was like, "Arigato gozaimasu." And I was like, and they were like, "Who is this girl trying to speak Japanese with a Texas accent?" And I was definitely not the most talented, definitely not the prettiest, but I think they could feel the joy, and I got hired. And so that has carried me through life. The grit, the
persistence,
the grace, but the joy.
Yeah.
Because I think that through hard times, joy is kind of what sustains us.
Absolutely.
I learned the hard way. It wasn't all about gritting it out. But after I was a dancer, I got into the fitness industry. And when I say I was on top of the world, I had finally built this big business in the fitness industry. I was sponsored by Nike. I was doing fitness videos. I employed several other trainers. Had 2 healthy children, husband that still have, that he's stuck by my side. And so life was good, and everything changed drastically in the blink of an eye. And when that change happened, I still continue to learn lessons every single day and still grow. But I just hope that anything I share today can really help somebody who's struggling, because when I was hit by an SUV, and I pray nobody gets hit by an SUV,
right.
but I feel like we've all been hit by something,
Yeah.
whether it's our finances, our health, our relationships. And I think that we all have that resilience within us, and we can absolutely get through challenges and adversity.
Yeah. And obviously you're an expert in resilience. I mean, what you've gone through, obviously. You said you'd hope nobody would get hit by an SUV, but I think that people need to understand, like, you mean like you physically got hit by an SUV, not your car got hit by an SUV, but you physically got hit.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because I've had people say, "Oh, you had a car accident."
I know.
And I'm like, no, not quite. Actually, I was riding my motorcycle home from work, and I had this SUV. He shot out of a parking lot. He was making a left, and I don't know if he didn't see me. I don't know if he was trying to beat me. I kind of think he was trying to beat me, and I was only going like 20 miles an hour. And so he punched it. So it was like, all I could do at the moment was think about jumping off my bike. I let go of the clutch, tried to jump off the bike, but it was too late. And I got T-boned. I was thrown 30 feet, and I was just sliding across the asphalt going, "Oh, please, God, just don't let another car hit me." I couldn't tell what I was sliding into. And when I stopped, I was in the middle of the street. So Ventura Boulevard in California is a pretty busy boulevard if you've ever been to LA. And I ended up, thank goodness, being in the middle, the center divider, I guess you would call it. And I laid there. I looked down at my leg once, and it was just crumbled into pieces, and there was blood everywhere. And so I held on to my leg, because I really thought if I let go of my leg that it might fall off. That's how bad. And it was crazy. My foot was dangling on by the skin, completely dangling off of my leg. And so I was screaming out cuss words, and then thinking, "Oh, my Methodist mama would not be proud of me right now." That's one of the thoughts I had.
Wow.
And then one of the next thoughts I had was, this can't be good. I might have to train clients on crutches for a while. Like, I was already thinking business-wise, like, how am I going to keep the business? How am I going to keep training my clients? And people weren't running over to me. They were, like, stopping, and one lady fainted.
Wow.
And luckily, one guy came over right away, and he ripped off his belt, and he made a tourniquet around my leg, and he saved my life. I didn't realize my femoral artery had been severed, and you can bleed out pretty quick. So he made a tourniquet, and then, I feel like God lined everything up exactly perfectly for me to live, because paramedics were right down the street at the Coffee Bean. They didn't even wait for the call. They heard the accident and were running down the street. So they got to me right away. I was yelling out my husband's phone number to call him. And I was 2 miles from my house.
So you're really, like, aware of what's going on. Like,
I was like hyper aware of everything that was going on. And I remember every detail. And I don't know if that's because I guess apparently I was in shock.
Yeah.
I think it's the adrenaline that's released that made me so hyper aware of I was so aware that when I got loaded into the back of the ambulance, I'm in the back of the ambulance, and they probably thought, this lady's crazy, because they start trying to cut my jacket off, and I'm like, "Oh, no, don't do that. This is a brand new Lululemon jacket."
Oh, my goodness.
I'm like, I can get this thing off. And my leg is falling off my body. And I had no idea that the back of my jacket was completely shredded. They didn't tell me it was. I didn't find that out till later. I'm wiggling this jacket, getting it off. Then they're prepping me to give me an IV. I'm like, whoa, 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 what are you giving me? So we're about to give you morphine. I said, well, I can't have morphine. I said, I'm allergic to it. And then
God was protecting. I mean, the fact that you knew to just speak at that moment and ask you're like doing everything in your mind, in your mind, you're telling everything to the paramedics. Like, I can't have morphine.
I learned that when I had a cesarean. And had I not gone through that experience in the middle of a cesarean and knew that I was allergic, I wouldn't even know to tell them that I was allergic. And I even have a bracelet that says it, and I was not wearing that bracelet that day.
But imagine if you had gotten the morphine, what would that have done to you? With all the tragedy that just happened with your leg, how would that, I mean, that's so scary.
Yeah. And then I remember squeezing the paramedic's leg, squeezing his leg as hard as I could. And I was looking at him. You're taped to a gurney, so you can't like sit up or look around. I'm strapped down, but looking at the paramedic thinking, why won't he look at me? Does this mean I'm dying? Like, you want to make that eye contact to go, like, it's kind of like when your kid falls down and scrapes their knee. They look at you to go, how bad is it? I'm like, how bad? What must be bad? He won't even look at me.
Oh my gosh.
So I get rushed. I get to the ER. That was the longest ride of my life. The pain was, on a scale of 1 to 10, it was like a 692. I mean, I'd never experienced anything like that. And I've had a child all natural with not even a Tylenol. So it was like a million times worse than that.
So you couldn't have any morphine. Could you have anything?
When I got to the hospital, I had nothing. And I get there and it's chaotic in the ER. And a doctor runs in, and my husband's there, and he is freaking out, crying. And I didn't know it at the time. He told me later it's because he goes, well, you didn't see what I saw. The doctor was reaching in with like a clamp to try to pull my femoral artery, and he would pull it out. My husband said it snapped back in my leg like a rubber band. And so he's trying to pull the femoral artery to clamp it to stop the bleeding. And I'm just like sitting there going, what the heck is going on? And my husband's freaking out. So I yell across the room, honey, get over here. I need you to be strong for me. Like, get over here. And then the room went quiet. They were like, oh, she means business.
Yeah.
He held my hand, and that's the last thing I remember before this beautiful nurse, her name's Shaniqua. She had beautiful black flowy hair, and she leaned over me and said, we're going to give you something to make you feel all better now. And it was the first time I felt like it's going to be okay, because I really thought, well, maybe I'm dying. Mm-hmm. And I guess my vital organs were shutting down because I'd lost so much blood and they couldn't control my pain. So they put me in induced coma. And I was in induced coma for a little over a week. And when I woke up, the first thing I learned was, we're so sorry. There's nothing we can do for you. This is like a war wound. Your leg is completely crushed. We need to go ahead and amputate. You have a 1% chance of saving it, so we need to just take it.
Oh my goodness.
And in that moment, I'm thinking, well, wait a minute. My leg has been my life. Back, I was a dancer.
Right.
I was in the fitness industry.
Right.
My whole, I wasn't thinking of, okay, there's a lot of amputees out there that win Olympic gold medals. I'm thinking, I've been a model. I've been a fitness model. My whole life has been, my nickname at the gym was Legs.
Legs?
Because I used to work
too.
out with, well, it was because I had strong legs. I used to work out with the guy bodybuilders, and I could do 7 45-pound plates on each side of the leg press. And now you're telling me you're going to amputate it?
Yeah.
All I focused on in that moment was, so you're saying there's a chance?
Yeah, 1%.
Okay, and we need to find a doctor who's going to be willing to take that chance with me.
Love it.
And it took a lot of grit. by the grace of God, we found a doctor, and surgery after surgery after surgery, 34 surgeries in total, they saved my leg.
Crazy. So, you're an anomaly because you heard 1% and you took that as you're saying there's a chance.
Yeah.
Most people would say 1%. I mean, might as well go ahead, cut it off.
Yeah.
I really think that. I think 1% is like nothing.
Well, I think when you have worked against the odds your whole life, when you've been told that it's not possible and you decide, well, wait a minute, it is possible. Right. When you've been the underdog, when you've been told for so long, oh, you're too tall, or you're too short, or you're too young, or you can't do it. I've always been, maybe call me crazy, but I've always been the kind of person that's like, tell me I can't and I'll show you I can. Yeah. I use that. I get motivated. And I think my husband should know by now when he tells me, oh, that's not possible. Well, actually, after I wrote my first book and it became a bestseller, he's like, well, I know when you tell me you're going to do something, you're actually going to do it.
Right.
Because I think that the hard times that you go through, the struggles that you have and you get through them, that builds your confidence, your endurance, your persistence. I think that being an athlete my whole life, running track, and I mean, I didn't just run track, I ran track. I had a coach that would pull me out of class and say, hey, it's up to you to get us to district. You are our only chance of getting us to district. She would sit me in the front of the bus on the way to the track meets and talk to me the whole time. Yeah. It's like, it's up to you. So what did I do? I took the small chance that we had as a team and I did it. Yeah. I was confident that like, okay, if I just work hard and what can I do? Instead of focusing on, oh, this is the obstacle or this is the problem. Okay, let's focus on the solutions. Right. How can you do it? Right. Okay, so what can I do next?
Right. Yeah, and that all of that history of, you going through adversity and challenges and hearing that you can't do it prepared you for such a time as the moment where literally that 1% chance became like, I'm fighting for this. I'm gonna do it. Not can I am. And so that's like a powerful I am statement. I am going to make it through this, and my leg is going to stay right here on my body, and we're gonna make it happen. And so you find a doctor.
Well, yeah, and it's funny you say my leg is going to stay right here. It makes me think of this time when, so after I was in the hospital for 3.5 months the first time, and when I got out of the hospital, I had a nurse come over that she was doing like a healthcare assessment, like she was there to see, and even though I was out of the hospital and I had my leg, she was there to see how much it was going to cost for physical therapy and all the things. If I kept my leg versus if I didn't keep it, what it was going to cost for, orthopedic shoes. If I didn't have orthopedics, that I had a prosthetic leg, all the things. And so she comes to the house, and I had my leg covered up for a long time because I was ashamed of all the scars. But my leg really looked bad, and I had to wear 2 compression socks on it at the time just to keep the swelling down. And she said, well, let me see your leg. And I remember rolling my pant leg up and painfully rolling these compression socks down off my leg. And she takes a look at it and she goes, so you going to keep it?
What?
Like she was talking about, like, I don't know.
Your sock.
Yeah. or a new pair of shoes that maybe you don't like.
Yeah.
And I looked at her and I said, am I going to keep it? What do you mean I'm going to keep it? I kept it. Yeah. It's my leg. Yeah. So when you said that, it made me think of that. Yeah. So the struggle through the hospital, yes, that took perseverance and grit. And I focused on everything that I could do every day. Yep. One day at a time, one thought at a time. Faith got me through so many hard moments. Gratitude for what I could do and what I did have, even though I was stuck in the hospital bed. But the real challenges came when I got home. I was out of the hospital. I didn't have a team of doctors. I didn't have visitors coming every day. I was stuck in a hospital bed that was in the middle of our living room because we had stairs. I couldn't get up the stairs. I was completely bedridden. I had a bedpan next to me in the middle of the living room, a 2-year-old daughter and a 15-year-old daughter about to go into high school. And there I was. I lost my career. I couldn't get up. And all the pain that I ran from my whole life. You know, I ran from the sexual abuse, the physical abuse, a bad marriage. And I physically ran. I became a runner. I ran. Everybody was like, oh, there's Amberly running around town again. When you finally can't grit it out like you did before, and you have to sit with those feelings, on top of it, I was diagnosed with this nerve disease called complex regional pain syndrome and told, well, you'll never work again. You're going to be permanently disabled. And to look down at my leg and to be completely scarred up and to be told that I'd be wheelchair bound forever, I was like, this cannot be my life. And so I can't sit here and say, oh, it was all so easy. And if you just grit it out and you do this thing, I'm sharing from a place of I really had to learn that the first part of any transformation is acceptance. Like I had to get radically honest with myself because I was in denial. Sorry, I keep.
No, I wish I had a Kleenex
Good
for
thing
you. Yeah, you look beautiful.
I have a good thing I have waterproof mascara. But I realized until I got radically honest with myself and accepted exactly where I was that I was going to get nowhere, that I was going to stay stuck. And one thing that really helped me was one day I was sitting in the bed and I would often throw up in my little bedpan because the pain would be so severe. And I remember sitting there going, what am I going to do? How am I going to get through this? And if you're feeling stuck and you're like, what am I going to do? What really helped me was my daughter. She was 2 years old at the time, and I heard her say, Mama. And I knew in that moment I'd been asking all the wrong questions. I was asking, what am I going to do? How am I going to get through this? What am I going to do for work? How am I going to make money? When she said, Mama, I thought I need to be asking why. Why am I going to get through this? I'm going to get through this because I'm going to be an example of resilience for my children. Still to this day, when I'm feeling tired or burnt out or maybe scared to do something, I focus on, well, why did I start? Why am I even sharing my message? Mm-hmm. And it's because I know there's somebody out there that might be feeling pain. That maybe it's not physical. They might be feeling shame. Maybe it's not from sexual abuse. Maybe it's from doing something silly or stupid that they feel like they made themselves a fool of themselves. I've definitely been there. But when you start asking yourself why and you get radically honest and accept exactly who you are and where you are, that allows you to take action steps with grit. It not only allows you to take action steps with grit in the right direction, it allows you to connect with the right community. It allows you to be vulnerable. And I remember I never used to cry. I never cried because I thought that crying meant that I was weak.
Yep.
And in fact, I remember when my oldest daughter was about 5 years old, we were running through the airport and they shut the doors. We had just missed our plane. And I dropped my bags and cried. And she looked up at me and said, Mama, I didn't know you knew how to cry. And I had stuffed down so many emotions for so long as a way of feeling like I'm strong and tough. But what I realized is vulnerability is actually strength because it connects you to your superpower of who you are and what you've been through and how you got through it. And it has allowed me to connect with community on a deeper level and build meaningful relationships. And I would not be sitting here with you today if I didn't have that connection. Connection is everything. What I've learned is grit without connection is just resistance. Resilience comes from grit with connection.
Right.
And so that's everything to me. Like connecting with somebody. By the grace of God, I got sober in 2016. All of this and being diagnosed with CRPS led me to being an alcoholic.
Okay. So yeah, that I was going to ask. So I know I'm pointing to your book. You were talking about acceptance earlier, and one of the things that I highlighted in that was you were talking about reflection, and you said acceptance doesn't mean giving up. Acceptance is freedom. It means that we can accept that something is happening the way it is, or that something exists in our lives while we simultaneously take action to make our lives better. Acceptance puts you in the driver's seat of your life. It is the key to your true inner power. It can feel contradictory to admit we're powerless over something, so it can make us powerful. But when we're in acceptance, what we think is the hardest thing we've ever gone through or the most shameful experience we've ever had, whether it's a scar on the outside, the inside, or something from our past that still haunts us, can actually be our superpower. And I
should have just said that what I wrote.
I know. I highlighted that whole component because it spoke so much to me. And I know, acceptance is hard when we're all faced with challenges and trials. I mean, God says in Scripture, you will face many trials of many kinds. And, we can continue to push and resist. Mm-hmm. But we also, at some point, have to accept. But acceptance doesn't mean that you quit or that it's like just accepting is like surrendering. It's surrendering.
It is surrender. It is surrender. And when I say accept, it was like, I remember, I learned acceptance in a pretty radical way, because I was like, I'm going to just get back to training. I could not get through the leg was giving me so much pain. I mean, I was trying every kind of treatment. I mean, I still do.
Yeah.
It's crazy. I've flown out of the country to try treatments. I'm just saying it's crazy because I'm just thinking about last night in my office. Like, I've had a doctor trying to get me to take peptides, and I just started taking peptides. You're the first person I'm ever even telling this. But my husband's like, here, I set this up. You have to shoot yourself in the stomach with this and blah, blah, blah. And I stand up. He goes, no, you need to sit down, squeeze your stomach. And I'm like, oh gosh, I could never be a junkie. I'm like,
right.
He's like, oh my God, just do it. And I'm like, and then I was doing it soft and it was just kind of poking. And I finally did it. But it was like the crazy things that I do for complex regional pain syndrome. And it's where your sympathetic nervous system needs to be rebooted. It's ranked highest on the pain scale.
Yeah. Can you explain what that is? Because I mean, I obviously know because I've read your book, but what is CRPS, right?
CRPS, it is a disease of the sympathetic nervous system. They are baffled by it. It's very baffling. It's usually caused by trauma. People get it from a sprained ankle. All of a sudden, they have pain that won't stop. I got it from my leg being crushed. And when I went and got diagnosed and they examined me, I was like, oh, no way do I have this nerve disease that there's no cure for. It's ranked higher than a kidney stone, higher than an amputation, higher than pain of childbirth. And so they try all these different things from ketamine infusions. I've had 2 spinal stimulators where they implant these metal leads into your spine and place implant a box in your butt cheek.
Oh my goodness.
And you have a dial that sends an electric current down your leg. I mean, I've tried everything and radical treatments, things that the side effect, you could become paralyzed. I'm like, bring it on because I need to get rid of this pain. But that's what CRPS is, and some people have it full body. I feel blessed, actually. I have it just in my right leg. I have found ways to get through the pain. And
what are your best practices?
Well, it's not just one thing. it's mind, body, spirit. But I think what led me to finally accept that I need to focus on things is I was like, screw this. I went to the doctor. I said, Dr. Wiss, I appreciate everything you've done for me, but this is giving me too much pain. We need to go ahead and cut it off. And I said, I know you've done 34 surgeries. Thank you very much. $2.9 million worth of medical expenses, but cut it off.
Right.
I need to move on with my life. I had a friend that met me at the gym. She had a prosthetic leg. She had a motorcycle accident like 4 months, and she was already at the gym doing leg press. I'm like, this has been years. Cut it off. And he's like, we can't do that because you have this nerve disease and it might spread. And that's when it hit me, because he got my leg and he put it in his lap and he looked at it like it was a masterpiece.
Artwork.
And I was like, wow, if he can look at it that way, maybe I can too.
Yeah.
And so the first thing that I really did that really truly helped me with the pain and allows me to walk and travel all over the country speaking on stages and work out in the gym was going, okay, well, these are the cards I've been dealt. It's up to me to play the heck out of these cards. And he helped me to accept not only the CRPS, but accept all the scars and learn to look at my leg with appreciation of, wow, look at how amazing the body can heal and how strong the human spirit really is and how much you can truly endure and get through.
Yeah.
And so I think the first step was going, okay, no, I actually really have this thing called CRPS. So acknowledging that, okay, I have something. So whether that's something that you have to accept, like maybe it's something that is a dis-ease in your business or in your marriage. How do you accept? What do you do to treat that?
Right.
First, acknowledge it. Take a look at it. Like, this is what it is. And right before we started recording, my husband's like, yeah, I need to talk to you about your taxes. I'm like, okay, that's something I have to take a good hard look at. You have to look at it or you can't fix it. And if you don't ask for help, how are you going to get better?
Right.
You have to acknowledge it
first.
And then it's like, okay, well, what are the things I can do? I have been in the dance world and the fitness industry my entire life. I knew how to eat. I did not know how to eat for this.
Okay.
I had to shift my eating and eat an anti-inflammatory diet. I had to look and get my blood work done by a doctor and see what I needed, what I was lacking. I think it's very important to go get your blood work checked out and see what do you need.
Yeah.
I have been my own advocate. I always challenge my doctor. And, when I moved to Texas, I went to a new pain doctor. And it was like, oh, give her this and give her that and give her that. And I'm like, no, wait. I said, what is that? And he said, oh, well, for doctors like, psychiatrists, they prescribe this for people who are depressed. But doctors in the pain, department, we prescribe it for pain. I said, oh, is it Cymbalta? He said, yes. I said, well, that's not going to work for me. I can't take it. I said, did you look at my chart? Don't just take anything the doctor prescribes.
I agree.
Challenge them. Mm-hmm. And so I told the doctor, I said, look, I am your worst nightmare of a patient because I don't want to just take any pills. I said, I want to get down to the root cause and I want to think outside the box of what can we do. And now my new doctor and I love him. He comes in the door, he hugs me, we sit down and we chat. He follows me on Instagram. It's like, I love him now. But at first I really challenged him. And he knew I wasn't just searching for like, give me some pills to cover it up. That's like putting a Band-Aid on a bullet hole. How do you get to the bottom root cause?
And you know what, Amberly, people need to be more like you. I mean, I think that's something that hopefully people that are listening will take that. Be your own advocate. You have to be your own advocate. No, whether you go through a motorcycle accident like you did, or you're going through cancer or whatever, like you have to be your own advocate and ask the questions and get to the root cause as to why you got there in the first place, whether it's your pain that you were dealing. And I just feel like there's so many people that, they
just take anything. Take the doctor's word for it. And I love doctors.
Right.
I've got some amazing doctors, but there's good ones and there's ones that they do not know. And I've had both.
Right. But you have to ask those questions and get to the root cause, and then become the advocate for yourself or your child. And, and be there so that you can get to the root cause, so that maybe you can make the changes that you wouldn't even need the medication necessarily.
Yeah, and when I got out of the hospital, I was on 11 prescription medications.
My gosh.
And then I had some doctor quack. I don't even know if he was a real doctor. I was taking 73 homeopathic pills. So 73 homeopathic pills and 11 prescription medications. And one day I was like, screw it.
Your kidneys and liver are like on overdrive.
Yeah. Right?
I mean, for real.
Oh yeah. My liver enzymes were elevated 300 times the amount that they were supposed to be, just because when I did my blood work, they were like, we got a problem.
Right.
And I wanted to get back to you saying about, have to be your own advocate, which is important. If you can't be your own advocate, have somebody do it. Have an advocate. Have somebody advocate for you.
Right.
When I was in a coma, they were just going to amputate my leg. And my husband said, no. I want her to wake up out of a coma with both of her legs. I want that to be her choice.
Praise God.
He advocated for me.
Yes.
And he's kidded around before, said, you know what? You've got 2 legs because of me. And I'm like, thank you, honey. But it's true. Because he advocated for me, and so, but with what helps me, everything I do, and I have to bend my leg over because I'm still moving this leg around that's full of metal. I set off all the alarms at the airport.
Oh, I bet you do.
I do.
They're like, here comes Amberly.
Here she come. They feel and I have to warn them before they touch my leg because it feels so deformed, I'm like, oh, it's really deformed. Just warning you, because they're like, I haven't before, and they're like, touch my leg and pat me down, and they're like, oh, and I'm like, no, that's the bone. I lift, and they're like, oh, I lift my pant leg up, and they're like, oh, going through. Like, get on out of here, girl. Yeah. But what works for me may not work for somebody else, but works for somebody else. Might work for me, but maybe it won't. But when we share what works, it can help everybody. But when I said it's not just a pill you take, it's not just, look, I take supplements. I take Lyrica, which helps with the nerve pain. I hate taking a prescription, but it actually helps me. Some people can't take it.
Right.
I'm not saying go out there and take Lyrica. I'm not, and I don't want to take it. I don't want to have to take anything, but I do take supplements. I just started doing peptides, but it's not just about that.
Right.
It starts with your mindset.
Right. 100%. Starts there.
It starts with your mindset. And I got in a lot of trouble for saying that you can get through pain with your mindset, but it starts with your mindset. It starts from the moment I wake up feeling grateful for I have the ability to walk. I am telling you, this morning I woke up and I walked outside with my dog. And by the way, the first thing I saw was a frog. Fully rely on God. I have frogs all over my office, termite, and I'm like, okay, thank you, God. There's my note for today. That's the first thing I did. And I am out there and I'm thinking, I am so grateful, God. Thank you.
Amen.
I feel less pain today.
Yeah.
I'm grateful when my pain is even a 7 instead of a 4, because I know if it's a 7, I can get it back down to a 4. And I'm alive, I'm up, I'm awake, I'm walking. So gratitude is the quickest and easiest way to shift your perspective and change the way that you feel about your circumstances or your situation.
Absolutely.
So it starts with a mindset, and gratitude is a cheat code for getting you in the right place with your mind.
Yeah.
And it's also the best thing, because I'm real hard on myself, and I've got the meanest inner critic, and I've learned to talk to myself instead of listen to myself. And when I say talk to myself, I'm like, Amberly, you can get your butt in the gym. Amberly, it's going to make you feel stronger. It's going to make you more confident. It's going to help you move through the pain. Get in the pain. It's going to release endorphins. And those endorphins are feel-good emotions that combat against pain. Right. And so everything that you can do with your mindset, with your food, with enough sleep. The post that I was, we were talking about this earlier, I did today, is all about resting, learning to rest. If you really want to be resilient, it's so important to strategically plan times to rest and recover
I'm
and
horrible
refuel
at that.
yourself. I am too. I was all about let's just grit it out.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so bad at that. And when you were talking about, your mindset, I always say, they always say mind, body, spirit. I say spirit, mind, body, because when your spirit is in alignment with God, your mind becomes focused on what, there's a scripture, whatever is right, noble, and true, excellent, praiseworthy. Think on those things. Mm-hmm. That's what God wants us to focus on, right? A mindset and that self-talk of being positive and affirming the things that he has placed in us, the gifts that he's given us. And then it translates into your body, right? Which is your temple where the Holy Spirit lives. And so I think it's like your spirit, mindset, body in alignment with God is where you shine the brightest. And obviously that's what you do. I mean, you mentioned you saw the frog. That was the first thing you saw, right? And that's exactly, God, like there he is showing himself.
Those little signs that I'm telling you, those signs are everywhere, and God is always, I say within you and around you, but those signs are always there when you're fully present and you take the time to notice them. But I wish I had what you just said to one of my clients. I was sending a voice memo to one of my clients who's doing her first TED Talk tomorrow. And she was telling me how she's nervous. And I said, hey, look, right before you go on stage, pray, but I want you to say, out of your head, into your heart, out of your head, into your heart. Even go out of your head, stay in your heart. And focus on, it's not about you.
That's right.
I said, it's about the people that you serve. I said, and God has brought you through all of this and let God speak through you. And it's so true. That's how I try, I was just talking to a friend yesterday, and I was telling her, I still get nervous sometimes, and I'm hired for these huge events to speak, and I'll go, are you sure you want me to speak at the event? Are you sure? Like, me, am I, that old thinking, am I good enough or whatever? And then I just think to myself, you know what? God, you've brought me this far. Please speak through me. Right. Let me say something that will bring people closer to you, because I feel like right now in this day and age, we need more love and joy and kindness and God. More than anything.
He exemplifies all of that, right? Like all the things you said, love, kindness, joy, like he embodies all of it. So, So, okay, you've written 2 books, and can you tell us a little bit about True Grit and Grace? This is your first book, and tell us, why did you write this specific book? What was it?
Well, you know what? I always feel like pain pushes you until your purpose pulls you, and I just felt like my purpose was to write something in words that people could read so I could make an impact in even one person's life so they wouldn't give up. I mean, it's a memoir meant to inspire. And so I take people on a journey of all the ups and downs of life and how I've made it through those times. And I really wanted to do that to teach people that they can they have the grit within them and they can develop that, but it's by the grace of God as well to get you through hard times, and that's how you strengthen your resilience.
Wow. Well, I haven't I've read this one. I am going to be reading this one, and I can tell you that I listened to you actually sharing a little bit your voice over on Amazon, because you can buy it on Amazon. And
it does that on Amazon?
Yes.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, it reads maybe 30 seconds or a minute.
Oh.
Okay. And it's your voice. And I was like, you left me on a cliffhanger. I was
this book, I always knew something was a little off with me. I was put in the special needs class, and then they tested me, and then we're like, no, she doesn't belong here. Something's wrong with her. Then they put me in the TAG program, Talented and Gifted. But had 2 brain scans from 2 different doctors and was diagnosed with ADD. And I always knew something was a little like wacky, but I've used it as my superpower. But I have a very short attention span. It's really hard for me to sit still. Like, I've always been a mover. My mom used to tell me, get out of the kitchen to go dance. You're driving me crazy. And so they built like a little area in the garage so I could go dance and move. I'm the same with reading. Like, it's hard, unless something's really good, it's hard for me to read it because my mind will go somewhere else. And so this book, I specifically wrote short chapters with cliffhangers at the end of each chapter so people would want to read it. And this book, more than anything, people said, I've never finished a whole book, or I've never read a book in an entire day. I couldn't put it down. And I was like, good.
You did exactly what you wanted.
I was like, good, because with my, focus, I was like, I wanted to write something that I know other people that maybe have challenges like me and that's hard to focus.
A lot of people are that way. I mean, especially in society today. I mean, I feel like everybody has ADD and ADHD.
Oh boy, my second book, Joy Through the Journey.
Yeah.
I had to. So my husband was like, I came out of my office and said, honey, I got a book deal. And he goes, oh, when are you going to have time to do that? And I was like, I will make time. Well, how I wrote it was every week on Tuesdays, I hired an editor that would meet me, that I had to have that accountability and had to have a couple of chapters written every 2 weeks. And I would wake up at 4:30 in the morning to write. And I couldn't even have my phone buzzing next to me. I had to throw it. I didn't throw it across the room, but threw it across, so just on the other chair across the way, just so I could not hear it or feel it buzz, because I had to get laser focused on the writing. And I had to do it while my husband was asleep, my daughter was asleep, my dog was asleep next to me, or else it was hard to write.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can get a lot done if I'm in a hotel room by myself.
Yeah.
No interruptions. It's quiet.
Right.
Just, man, I can lock in. Same for being on a plane. I can lock in and get it done. And I'm like, 3.5 hours. Wow, I got so much done.
Yeah.
So that's how it was with this book. The first book took me 2 years to write. The second book took me about 4 months.
Wow. That's amazing. So are there going to be more books?
Well, it's so funny because after I wrote my second book and it became a USA Today bestseller, which was like,
I know.
Oh my gosh, I cried when I found out that. I really cried. I just got back from New York a couple of days ago. They put my book on the NASDAQ, which was like surreal. Yeah.
I mean, pinch me moment.
It was like surreal, but actually in that moment, that was amazing. That's a dream come true. But can I tell you honestly what I was even more grateful for in that moment was that I could walk, because I'd been on crutches recently. I was on crutches like 3 weeks ago, and then couldn't wear my regular shoes, and I could walk. Now I had crutches with me in New York to walk everywhere, but my husband held my crutches and I was able to take a picture and stand there with my book, and I was standing.
Yeah.
To me, getting back up again. We all get knocked down, but to get back up again, that's where you find your resilience.
Yeah.
Just the decision that you're going to get back up again and again and again. So to write a book again, the publisher was like, so when are you going to write your next? You ready to write your next one? And I was just like, no. I was like, no. But then I had somebody else go, well, do you have another one? And I'm like, well, gosh, as soon as God places something on my heart, I've had something on my heart to write for a long time. And I think it's already pretty much written. I would just need to put it together. And it would be like every morning you should see my coffee table. I've got my Bible and I have so many devotional books, and I like to read every morning. And it doesn't take that long, maybe, unless I get lost in it, it'll be like 30 minutes of reading. But I try to read, even if it's for 5 minutes, read something that will get me you know, in His Word, in my faith, connected to my sobriety, connected to my heart. I read something. I love daily devotional, something you can pick up and read. So that's something, and you're the first person I'm telling. Well, you know what? You're smart to have your podcast in your living room, because I forget we're recording. And I'm just telling you all the stuff, all my secrets.
Hey.
But yeah, that would be my next book. I would want to do a devotional that would have some sort of daily reading, with maybe a Bible verse and an inspirational quote that they could get them going for the day.
I love that. I love that. So I know, obviously, you've written 2 books. You've got others in store. You also have a mastermind class. You speak, motivational speaker. Can you share a little bit about, let's start with the mastermind class. What is that, and what does that look like for you?
Well, actually, it's called the Unstoppable Life Mastermind, and we're a tribe. We're more a gang. We have matching shirts and necklaces, but we don't have the leather jackets yet.
Okay.
But that'll be next. That's
okay.
next on the list, is to get the matching leather jackets. But no, it's a group of women, female entrepreneurs, who are ready to share their message. Some of these ladies in here, they have gone through trials and tribulations and come through the other side, and now they know God's put a message on their heart to share with the world. And so we come together. I have expert speakers that also come in. We do their branding, and we really do talk about how to write their book, how to do a TED Talk, how to get on more stages, how to really speak their message into the world so they can make a bigger impact, influence, and income. And so there's something when you have a group of women that are supporting each other, that really love each other, that are cheering each other on, and also providing value in their services, collaborating with each other, it's really powerful.
Yeah.
And so we come together once a year. We have an annual event, and this year is something totally different. We have an event in Dallas, or Irving. It's called the Unstoppable Success Summit, and this year the proceeds go to Call to Freedom, which is to support women who have gone through, survived human trafficking. So each ticket purchase goes towards a good cause to help another woman get their life back. And I'm having all the ladies of the Mastermind share their message from stage to impact, give strategies, hope, inspiration. Not just a raw motivational type of conference. It's a conference where you're going to make connections and learn from other women who have done the work, and they can show you how to get through those challenges and really increase your impact as well. And so it's something I'm most excited about right now.
And when is that?
April 30th.
Okay.
So it's right around
the corner. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wow, that's so exciting. Yeah. And how many speakers are there?
There's 12 speakers. And, actually, I take that back. There's 12 speakers, and I have one popping in who is from a publishing company because I really want to, people ask me all the time, how'd you write your books? And I've done self, hybrid, and traditional, and I love to help women get their message out there in the world. Especially when I wrote my first book, I didn't own a computer, and I had everybody saying, that's crazy, you can never do it. And I'm like, okay, then I'm definitely going to
do it. Right. Here it goes.
Here it goes. And so I wrote 90% of my book by hand, and then I found an editor. Here's the key if you want to write a book. Just start writing, but seek counsel, not opinion. Meaning, like, everybody has their opinion. Most of the people that have an opinion is because they've never done it. They would be scared to do it. But when you seek counsel, somebody who's already written a book, who can lead you, who can show you the way, who can connect you to the right publishers, the right PR company, the right publicist, whatever they may be, then it's possible.
Yeah. So true. So true. I actually had a friend of mine that has written a book, and she said the exact same thing. So there's 2 people edifying that truth that,
So when are you getting your book?
Oh, I don't know. We'll see.
Dallas, you've got an incredible story and a beautiful heart, and you're such a good leader. And
Oh, you're
I
so
could
sweet.
see you writing a book. I'm just saying, I'm just planting
Well,
that
let's see.
seed.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And, God has definitely planted some seeds in my heart. And it's just, making time to do that, which, whoever has time, right? Like, there's no time like the present.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, we'll talk after
Yeah.
this. I can help you with that. I've
Yes.
got some ideas. I've
Oh,
got some
you're
ideas.
so sweet. So obviously, and then you also are a motivational speaker. So you obviously do the unstoppable, but didn't you speak? You've been on TED Talks and you've been all over. So
Yeah, it's a little wild. I did more in-person speaking events than I'd ever done last year, plus launch my book, my annual event. So it was very eventful, and the best part of being able to speak on stages is not actually the stage, it's actually the people I meet after I speak is my favorite
the
part.
energy.
Or
Yeah.
it's when I'm on stage and I can see the transformation literally happen like this, or the joy spark in their
Yes.
eyes. That to me is magic. And I think that it's so important if you're going through something and you're struggling, or you feel stuck, or you're not sure what you should, you need to do, or you're like, I don't know my purpose. I would start by asking yourself, what brings joy? What lights up the joy within you? What makes your heart smile?
People for me.
And start doing more of that.
Yeah, I love people.
That's why I see you doing what I mentioned to you earlier.
Yeah.
I see so much. I don't know. That's why I love my mastermind, is because when I hear somebody's story, or when they start to share, I don't know if it's my ADD brain or what, but it's just like, boom, I have so many ideas. Like, I just want to get a whiteboard and sit and
talk to me.
write down the plan and the vision I can see for you. I'm not kidding. It makes me so excited.
Oh, I love hearing that. And what's interesting is that's when, with my previous company, that is what I did with so many people, was sit down and help them create what they maybe didn't see for themselves. And so when you're such an inspiration to me, but when I hear you see something in me, that it just is like, it's so special to me, because I usually am the one that's giving the ideas for people and what I see in them, because I have so much belief in other people. I know what they're capable of. Yeah. God has such big plans for them. Yeah. And so,
well, I see that in you, and I see your gift. And it's interesting because I can see so much in other people, but I'm the same. Like, I can help somebody put together, like, I've had one of my clients came to me specifically because she wants help with her TED Talk. I can help you put together, I love it. I can help somebody put together their keynote. I was driving in the car with one of my mastermind members, and she was telling me her talk as we were sitting in traffic in LA. And I was able to take notes as she's talking. After we finish, I'm like, boom, boom, boom. This is what we're going to do. I can just see it in them, and I love helping them. And then it comes to me, and I'm like, oh, what am I going to open with?
yeah.
It's like,
It's
easier
for other people.
Other people.
Yes.
I don't know what that is. It's easier for me to see it in others than it is for myself a lot of times.
I think it's because you have like this faith that God has. I mean, the way I look at it is like, you have this faith that God has these people that you love, and you want them to see themselves as God sees them, because you see them as God sees them. And so when you see people as God sees them, then you're like, man, why do you not have this belief in yourself? Because I see you the way God sees you. And I want to instill that in you. And I have a hard time with myself, but
That's why it's good. Sometimes all we need is somebody to believe in us before we can believe in ourselves, or see something in us, or even love us until we can love ourselves. Because I definitely needed that after my accident, and my husband was that for me. I don't know if he was just pretending or he actually does, but he always looked at my scars with love and beauty and saw me and didn't see all the scars. And so he's really taught me to do that.
Yeah. Wow. I mean, I tell you what, spouses that are supportive are the most important thing. I mean, there's a reason why God says a cord of 3 strands is not easily broken in Ecclesiastes. It's like God is in the middle, husband and wife on the sides. And it's a beautiful interwoven masterpiece. Yeah. And he obviously, like, you know, I feel very fortunate. I have a supportive husband as well. And there's nothing better. There's nothing better than to have a supportive person or for me, our husbands that see the beauty in us.
It's not always easy.
Oh, no. Oh, no. How long have you been married?
20 years.
Me too.
Oh, yeah. Oh my goodness. Yeah.
It's hard. It's a work in progress all the time.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
It is.
You have to put some energy and effort into it.
Every day.
Every day.
Every day.
Even when you don't want to.
Absolutely.
Even apologize when you don't really want to.
Right. All the things, right? All the things. Well, I have had so much fun. Like we have to, like, you're like my new bestie.
I know. I forget. Oh yeah, we're recording a podcast. Oh my gosh, I just want to hang out all day. This has been. You're incredible.
No, you are incredible.
And I can't wait until we have more time to like hang out more, go get lunch, go for a walk. Yeah. Yes,
I love that. I love nature, so I'm always up for a walk, and I'm always up for good food.
Yeah.
After I went through breast cancer, I gave up sugar, refined sugar, dairy. Don't drink alcohol anymore, like all of it, right? And so I am all about really good food. Like I want like food with purpose.
Yes.
You know?
Yes.
I mean, it is like I'm intentional about my food. I like food.
I do too. Good food.
Good food, right? Like way more than I ever did when I would drink or eat all the sugars and all the things. Now I'm like, I like real food.
It's fuel for your body.
It is.
I look at food as fuel.
Fuel. Yes, absolutely. Well, you are an inspiration. I have loved hanging out with you. These two books are, I mean, I'm getting ready to read this. I won't be able to put it down because,
you're so sweet.
I'm serious. I listened to that like 30-second thing and I was like, of course it like ends like right as I'm like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen?
Well, I have to listen to that. I didn't even realize that.
Yes, on Amazon, you can listen to it. And then Joy, I've read. It's amazing. And it truly brought so much joy to my heart. So make sure that if you haven't read these, get them.
Oh, thank you so much, Dallas, for having me on.